My name is Lydia, and I am a compulsive overeater. And I will give you my anniversary date in Gray Sheet is August the 31st, 1994. By the grace of God, one day at a time, I've been abstinent. And, when I was asked to speak, I'm always like, yes, you got to speak up. You're part of the group. You're a gray sheeter. You weigh and measure 24 hours a day, no matter what, 3 meals. You keep it like, yeah, you just do what you have to do. And I was like, but yet today I almost have a headache because I start thinking and thinking and thinking, what am I going to say? What am I going to this? Da, 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 da. I don't have nothing to say. I just don't eat no matter what. And like, I get on my meetings, I listen to other people, I do sponsor, I have sponsees, and I am sponsored, right? My sponsor is a very lovely, gentle woman. And I must admit that when I came into the rooms, I came in with big numbers. I was climbing up to 185. And I do have a picture. I don't know if you can see it. This was me in Puerto Rico visiting a family member. You could see I would cross my legs so I could or put people in front of me whenever they took a picture, and then my tops were always too small. So, and later on, I have another picture here. I started weighing and measuring here. I took my son to Walt Disney World, and that little bag in there had my cup and my scale. I'm a cupper. I know some people I'm from the New York City community, and there was a big controversy about who gets the most amount of food. And cupping was always easier for me. Till this day, I love my cups. Oh my God, I couldn't even think about a story. One time I was on vacation and the guy says, I'll clean your cup for you. We were in Florida in this little restaurant. And he brought it back with the handle because he put it in one of these high pressured steamers to wash it, and my handle was broken. Oh my God, I thought he did something to me. I was like, are you kidding me? You damaged my stuff. So, but I'm much more tolerant. I can always get another cup. And I've been in a lot of different situations. And I still, wait a minute. I went to the game one time, a baseball game, and guess what? I forgot my fruit. And by the grace of God, I found out that there was a gray sheet at was it Yankee Stadium or Shea Stadium? I think it was Shea Stadium. And there was a gray sheeter who worked in the restaurant. And by the grace of God, I got my fruit. But you know what? I know for a fact I was willing to leave that stadium, go down the street, and hunt down a neighborhood store, a 99-cent store, a grocery store, a supermarket. Didn't matter. So I was really, I'll go to any lengths to get my food, no matter where I am. Yeah, my headache is really coming on. But today has been a day where my puppy doesn't feel too good, and I have a lot of sympathy. I think in Gray Sheet I was taught, to take a look at myself. Like I was always blaming other people. Always, it was my mother's fault. It's my husband's fault. Still, sometimes I think it's my husband's fault. But what I've learned to do is to zip my mouth, to zip my lip, or I literally remove myself. I just go take a walk outside. In early abstinence, I used to walk down the steps, leave my house, just go down the steps, go around the block. If I had to cry, I would cry. And I remember I lived in a neighborhood. Nobody ever asked me, what's the matter with that lady? She's crying, blah, blah, blah. And I used to cry even at my desk when I was working with the labor department. I was an interviewer for 35 years with the state of New York. People were coming to me to help them find work, which I was pretty good at, doing their resume, getting them onto LinkedIn and stuff like that, teaching them how to create an email. But I sometimes was crying over my feelings because people at work, I always felt offended. And I always felt so hurt, so left out, so aggravated. So I had to learn certain tools. I had to learn to call on a higher power. God, you walk before me. You go into this office ahead of me, and you will take care of me. Those were prayers that I used. And even in my kitchen, I say, God, I got to stop chopping. I got to start chopping. I'm not a cook. You know, I used to tell, we're allowed to have spices on the gray sheet, right? So one time I tell a girlfriend, oh, I got to call my mother in Puerto Rico because she has to send me some spice that I wanted. And she goes, you could get that in the local supermarket. What's the matter with you? Okay, so you go, my cooking skills were basically I cooked everything in water for years. But that works for me because why? It was so important that I ate my 4 ounces. The weight was coming off of me. I wanted to belong. I don't know what it was. I just wanted to be, I wanted to get rid of that outer manifestation. I really was sick. I had gastrointestinal problems. I used to take a shower with a bowl of carbohydrates and grains. How the hell do you take a shower? The water's coming down and I'm eating in the shower. I was so bad that I was literally sitting on the bowl. Guys, excuse me, and ladies, it's coming out one way and I'm eating the other way. I could not stop eating. I stumbled on a gray sheet room. It wasn't because anybody out here said, oh, you need to lose weight. I was in therapy. I would read books and it didn't matter. It did not matter. I just could not stop. So when I went into the rooms and they said your life was unmanageable, I went to Jan Hus in Manhattan and I would go down to 14th Street, down 14th Street at one of the hospitals. And also I would drive to Long Island, Winthrop Hospital. So on the weekends, I would take the train, leave work, go to Jan Hus on a Friday night, and then on a Saturday, I would go to Winthrop Hospital out in Long Island. And so I became more of a weekend gray sheeter, and today's Saturday. And I used to make it a lot to the Harlem meeting. So, and the ladies were very, very, I'm going to say some meetings were more welcoming than others. And that's okay, And when during COVID, I moved out to New Jersey. It was very hard. I didn't like to, I had to work with computers. I didn't like to do the Zoom thing. I still don't know how to raise and lower the volume. I don't know how to do the chat thing. So like people just leave it on and I'm fine. If I just get on, I'm cool. So it took me 2 years before I was more willing to do service on Zoom. So if I've been abstinent since 1994, I think 2000 during the pandemic, I was still going to some meetings, usually on the phone, I'm going to say. And it's funny, I was thinking about this the other day. And I'm telling on myself, guys, I always used to contribute a little something by putting something into the basket. But since I've done Zoom and the phone, I haven't contributed nothing. I'm sorry, because this is a program that has saved my life. You think this is a simple little disease, like who has a problem with eating? Oh my God. This disease it's so dangerous. It made me hate myself. It made me I never have even now, I feel like I have the goal of wanting some sort of self-respect from my son or from my husband. I raised one son and he's okay. I mean, I'm sure there's damage there, but I have asked him to be aware of the alcohol and to keep a healthy diet. And it just so happens that my husband had an aorta tear. He wasn't taking his high blood pressure medicine for about a year, and I didn't know. And it's his medicine. He was supposed to take care of himself a little bit, but he wound up with this major open heart twice. They cracked open his chest. He had 11-hour surgery 2 times, and they picked him up in a helicopter. And guess what? When I took him to the hospital, I drove back home. I didn't have my cup and my scale with me. And guess what? I had my mom with me, who's about 92 years old. And I said, we got to go I lived in Jersey. We had to go to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a Penn Medicine. I didn't even know where that was. But because I'm abstinent, I always feel that I can get through things. I will get through things. And I don't know. I dropped the ball with everything. I was super irresponsible before I came into the rooms. I don't think I ever cared. If I told you I was going to show up, I never showed up. If I told you I was gonna, pay you back, I never paid you back. If I said it was, I feel like saying loser, but but that's 10 minutes. Thank you. That's good. That's good. I don't want to put myself down. I've had to learn how to buy pajamas that say I love me. I bought pajamas that said, God is in charge. I go to the World Service Convention. I went to the very first one. My dog doesn't feel so good. I don't know what's the matter. Um, I worked with hospitals and institutions trying to tell social workers in the New York City hospitals that there's a better way. Gray sheet. I gave them as much information. We had a pamphlet at the time that says if you can't stop eating. I try to connect a lot with the social workers and eating disorder clinics, and I did that with another gray sheeter. And so and I will honestly say that working closely with another gray sheeter, not just my sponsor, it sort of helped me. It helped me a lot because I come from a place of very low self-esteem. Nobody likes me, nobody wants me, even till this day. You know, I do care about myself. This disease let me know that all I ever did with the food, I wanted to hurt myself. I was literally punching myself in the stomach the way I ate, and looking for the meaning of life in the food. That's not where it lies. I had to really learn how to believe in God a little bit more. I do have a Catholic school upbringing. I did go to Catholic schools in Puerto Rico as well as in New York. And I went to it was a private school. But I don't know. I do say my third step prayer. I have a little plaque that's my third step prayer. I have little signs around around my house that says be kind. Not just be kind to others, but be kind to myself. I have a sign that says pray hardest when it's hardest to pray. Today's a day, my relationships still, they're not that great. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm respectful, but they're not that great. Sometimes I feel very disappointed with my son's wife. His wife, he just got married about 2 years ago and they have a baby. And the wife has criticized me and she doesn't want to eat anything I cook because she believes I'm going to poison her. Of all things, I have no desire to go to jail. I don't judge anybody for counting days. I don't judge anybody for, I'm glad everybody's here as long as we have a desire to stop eating compulsively. That's why I do this service too. I hope if I've said anything, it helps you. Um, yeah. There's a lot of people on, so I don't know. I feel like I'm running out of gas. I've traveled. I've been on cruises. Uh, my father passed away and I stayed abstinent. My dog. Oy. Um, I think I'm very healthy. I had a hip replacement in abstinence, and I feel like I will continue to do just about everything. Be a grandma, be a wife, not be a wife, be single, be happy, be sad, and I'll still be abstinent. And sometimes, the way I eat, I love my food. I had no boundaries. I had no idea when to stop eating. I would eat, oh my God. I'm going to see if anybody knows this. Okay, so I come from the Bronx and I lived in Queens. I would drive over the bridges to go to a, a carbohydrate store. And when I tell you, I was the only 4'11" light-skinned person in a very dangerous neighborhood running down track. And I know that I have no sense when I'm eating compulsively. No sense. Everybody else, so with that, I'm just going to say I'm grateful. I stumbled on the rooms. I didn't understand what it really meant to be obsessive in my thinking. I had to go to meetings to learn, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm still teachable. The steps Step 1 and 2, I was doing that forever. Step 3 came to believe in a power greater than myself. So I literally have to remind myself, okay, what does God want me to do? Sit back. And with that, I'll pass